Hey, this is the old gaming geezer, and I am launching today a mission to Minmus to gain a little bit of science. What you're seeing here is the first of a couple of different launches, maybe one or two launches to Minmus, one or two to the moon. Unfortunately, I had a little problem with my video recording, and I lost some of these videos. So unfortunately, we're only going to see this. So here we are doing our gravity turn now, and this is just a small, simple lander. It's to gain science, and it's rising up very nicely. It's about to drop its outer stages, and they're gone. Lights up its final stage, and we rise up into the atmosphere. And at this point, I'm running out of fuel, or I don't think I've got enough thrust to actually get myself into orbit, so I switch on my lander engines just to give myself a little bit of a boost. I'm not exactly, it's not exactly the greatest designed rocket you've ever seen, but it gets there. It gets into orbit, and I got a nice circular orbit, and I start dumping fuel back into the lander, tanks, because I know I'm going to need them later. And so here's me screwing around with those bloody maneuver nodes, which I would be lost without. However, I'm really bad at them. I really am. So I'm trying to get a encounter with Minmus here, and I finally get one, and I'm tweaking it, and here we go. We're going to burn to Minmus. And we're burning away on our way to the beautiful, beautiful mint green planet. Or moon even, the mint green moon of Minmus. And we come out to the sun, we drop our launch stage, our transfer stage that was supposed to be, and now we're on our lander stage. Okay, so we get out to Minmus, and we burn to get ourselves into a nice little orbit around Minmus. Here we are, we're about to burn to get us into moon orbit. Nice. Nice little burn. And there we are, we got a nice little circular orbit around Minmus. There's my kethane scanner doing its kethane scanning, or not, as the case may be. So we do a little science in orbit around Minmus. Crew report, observing some mystery goo. And then we start getting into position to bring us down. Oh wait, no, Jeb gets out, and Bill gets out and does a crew report, and now we're on our way down. The green surface of Minmus shifting below us, sliding away, sliding closer and closer. But you know, Bill is good. He's okay. He's feeling a little happy, and happy is good. Or is he feeling a little sad? Or a little scared? I don't know, but he's coming in for a landing now, and you see the rocks around him. You can see our shadow getting closer and closer and closer as we drop down towards the surface, the minty surface of Minmus. Yes. Slowing it down, the lights are showing the ground, and we're down, safe and sound. Excellent. So, time to do some science. We do crew report, we observe the mystery goo, we look at the materials bay, and Bill gets out and decides to plant a flag. Well, you know, that's the kind of thing that Bill does. Look at him there. He's on Minmus. He's feeling so good about himself. Now, this is a science lab that I sent up into orbit. Now, unfortunately, the launch got lost. And also, unfortunately, there's nobody in it. So, I need to figure out, I need to get a crew up to this thing. But I plan to bring it out to Minmus and have, I plan to bring it out to the moon and have Jeb or Bill or Bob, whatever, go do some science, pop up to it, drop off the science, go back down, you know, and so they don't have to keep coming back to Kerbal. That's the plan that is with this science lab. So it's ready to go out to the moon or to Minmus. I haven't decided where it's going to go yet, but there's nobody on board. So this is a perfect time to start my plan of doing space planes. So here is my first space plane, and I'm sure that I've got the staging right. Okay, I'm sure I've got the staging right this time. This time, go. These are just flight tests. These are not supposed to be proper launches. They're just flight tests. So this one, I'm thinking, is also an utter failure. I just keep screwing up the staging. I keep doing it. Finally, I think now we might have a good launch. So here we go. And it's shaking, and... oh, dear. Luckily that was a simulation, because there's no way that Jeb and Bob would have been on that. So, okay, we're going again. Another simulation. This one's going to work. I know it. I can feel it in my water. And we're wobbling. Oh, we're losing bits of the plane, and... oh, God. This time it's going to work. It's going to work, I know it. We've changed the design. It's going to work. It's going to take off. It's going to do it. I'm sure of it. Those engines are close to the ground, and we lose them. Okay, space planes, they're really easy. Anybody can do them. It's fine. I swear. I'm trying again. At this point, I know that I can do it. I can feel it. I know it. I know that the space plane is within my grasp, even if my engines keep falling off the back of my plane. And we lose another one. But that's okay. As I said, these are just simulations. This one, I know it. I know this is going to work. Here we go. We're taking off. We're speeding down the runway. Any second now, we're going to start rising. Rising. Our speed is increasing. Come on, boys. Come on, boys. And we're up, and we've lost our engines again. Okay, well, we get it back down, sort of, and bang, we lose most of the airplane. Okay. Well, at least the boys survived. You know, Bob and Jeb. You know, crashing space planes and crashing spaceships is all part of the job for them. You know, they're probably sitting in there, they're just thinking about their life, and, you know, it's getting dark, let's turn on the lights, guys. They're just, you know, they're feeling good about themselves, you know. A good crash is what it's all about. But I think it's time to try again. Here we go. Here we go. This time, I'm feeling it. I know this plane is going to work. I've tested it. I am testing it. This is going to get off the ground. And that is just the way it is. The plan is, I'm trying to test the flight characteristics of this design, but as you can see, the flight characteristics are not fucking great. Those fuel tanks on the wings are supposed to drop off as soon as I've got a nice height, and then I just, you know, cruise down, glide down, but it's... well, you know... I had some luck with airplanes earlier on in this save game, but not with these particular ones. I really am not. I'm trying to save this thing. It's just looping and looping and looping, and I'm desperately trying to get it back down onto the ground, and I get it down onto the ground. And Jeb and is that Bill or Bob? Jeb and Bill survived. So that's okay. They survived. They're okay. They're okay. You know, we'll just knock that one down to experience. So this is a slightly different design. And this one, you know, this one is going to work. I'm pretty sure. I've decided to... it's more stable. And this, as you can see, I've got rocket engines on the back. The worst rocket engines I could possibly have. But you know what? It's just a test. And this thing gets off the ground. And it flies quite well. It's looking really good. Look at that. It's looking great. It's just, I haven't touched the controls. It's just going up on its own. Everything is working out fantastically here, except for as soon as I touch the controls and we start to spin out. So I think I need to learn a little bit more about aeronautic design, because quite frankly, I suck. So I turn on my rockets here to hopefully maybe that'll stabilize the plane, and it doesn't at all, not even pretending, and it splashes into the water. So we try again. You know what? When in doubt, try again. That's what I always say. So I think that this is going to be the one. It's going to be the one. Gotta be. Okay, we go up again. Taking off. It flies so well. It really does. Except when you try to do anything. So we're going well. We're almost doing it. Pull up the nose and... Okay. We're rising. This is working. I'm at this point I'm thinking, well, this might be a viable space plane. Might be. We're trying to get it up. We're trying to get a little bit of height. And it looks pretty damn good with a huge air intake on the front. I'm pretty much trying to air hog this thing as well. As you can see, I've got like 5 air intakes on one engine. So I'm not even sure is one engine enough to get me into a speed where I can, you know, where I'm almost suborbital while still in the atmosphere. I don't even know if one of those jet engines can do that. That's with is it the Ramjet engine? I can't remember. So a few views from inside that lovely B9 Aerospace cockpit. The B9 Aerospace cockpits are all fantastic. They are just brilliant. And so we're doing it. I know it. We're doing it. I'm feeling cocky. Feeling like this is going to work. This is going to be the one. And so I touch the controls and we start to spin out. This is not the one. Not at all. Oh my god. This is all just a test to see how well Jeb and Bill survive in the spinny thing. And I got a view of my windows there. I don't know how that happened. Oh dear. Well, I think it's back to the drawing board. I don't think that... I spent a whole day building those planes and crashing those planes and having a lot of fun, but I really had that lab in orbit that I really needed to get some guys up to. So after we splashed down, I decided it's time to launch. So this is my crew bus. It's the Kerbal crew bus, and it's bringing a couple of guys up to the space lab. And, you know, they've got some science to do, so they're just going to go up and do it. And we're not going to be screwing around with space planes just yet, probably until we have just a little bit more technology to do that. Which is the whole purpose of this mission, really, is to gain lots and lots of science fairly quickly. So these guys are just getting into orbit. I'm going to drop their stage now. Any second, there we go. They're dropping their stage. And as you can see here, we are actually going to fly right past the science lab. But we missed it, unfortunately. We were going much too fast. So unfortunately, we're just going to have to try. As you can see me here, I'm trying to burn, try and slow down, but it's just not going to happen. My orbit is just too big. So after screwing around with my nodes and my orbits, I finally managed to get a close encounter with the science lab. So the crew bus, the boys are coming in. So here's the crew bus now. We're slowing down, trying to get close to the science lab. Now, the methods that I use to rendezvous is I find really hard. But once I get close, I can generally get in. Basically, you fly towards the thing, your target, you burn towards it, and when you get close to it, you burn in your burn in the opposite direction. Your relative retrograde. You slow down so that your relative speed with your target is 0, and then you turn around and you burn towards it again. And when you get close, you spin around and burn retrograde relative to your target until you get your relative velocity down again to 0. And you keep doing that over and over. And you can see me doing that in this video as I'm turning the ship around and I'm shooting towards it. And now I'm getting quite close. And I'm going to start burning now to slow myself down. I've burned a little bit to slow myself down. And there it is. Turn the lights on and we can see it. We can see the science lab. So, and now we've switched off our main engine and we've switched to RCS and we're slowly getting in there. Docking is really hard, except when you figure out how to do it. And then it's just a case of being patient. You just got to be slow and patient. And the way I do it is I line up my my prograde marker with my target marker, assuming of course the target marker is the docking port, and then I just burn towards it and boom, we dock. And it took me ages. It took me maybe about 10 or 15 tries at docking before I managed to get my head around that that it was actually quite easy to do as long as you were careful and as long as you were patient. And here's Jeb is taking a look, you know. He's actually, that's not Jeb, that is, I can't remember who that is. That's one of my guys, one of the boys from the lab has been sent up to to actually do some real work in space instead of being stuck in the lab. And so he gets in, and the other guy has jumped out of the crew bus, and he is going to get into the science lab. And there he is. He's in space, and he's like, oh my god, I never thought I'd be in space. And there's my windows again. Why the hell did I keep showing my windows? But anyway, so he gets into the science lab. I have a look. I check the systems. I put a bit extra fuel in the science lab because I burned a little bit more fuel than I planned to, getting it in orbit. But it's there. It's ready to go. I probably will send out a refueler to it because I do want to move it from its... When I send it out to the moon, I am going to do a lot of science on the moon, and then I'm going to move it to Minmus. So I will probably send out a refueler. And there it is, rushing over the surface of the Kerbal. Of Kerbin. Yeah, and there it is. And now we're undocking. Jebediah is going to undock, and he's going to bring the crew bus home. I'm going to say that this is a completely reusable rocket, because it's got all the parachutes that it needs. It's going to splash down or do a hard landing. Well, as long as the hard landing is not so hard that it explodes. But there's enough parachutes on it. Not really all that worried. So there we go, as our mission is successful. As Jeb slowly pulls the crew bus away from the science station. And you can see it drifting off into the deepest, darkest night. This is the old gaming geezer. I'm going to sign off. Good night from Jeb. Good night from Kerbal Space Program.